You're a star. Don't be nervous. You're a star. Don't be nervous. All right, listen, George Michael. Baby, gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm. Though it's easy to pretend. I know you're not a fool. That'll do the trick. How much time? Okay. Shalom, Eliyokim Cohen, Jews News Briefs, May 26, 2011, the 22nd day of the year on the Hebrew calendar. We're here from Jews News World Headquarters. Our sponsor today is HebrewPodcast.com, a great Hebrew learning site at a very, very affordable rate. And if anybody would like to sponsor the show, just email me on Facebook. My name is Eliyokim Cohen. You can post it on Jews News. We'll be happy to read it over there. A little update on my father. My father is running across America. He's 60 years old. He's apparently the Jewish Forrest Gump. He's doing 20 miles a day. He's going all the way from Jacksonville to Lubbock, Texas, a little west of Lubbock, Texas, which is like over 1,340 miles. So, Dad, I'm so proud of you. This is like an amazing, amazing achievement. Please go to his website, 20at60.com. Comment, give him some encouragement. Send him some free shoes, whatever you want to do, just help my father out. He's doing an amazing thing for Jewish charity and for the tornado victims in Alabama, because that is where he went to college. Let's dive right into some today in Jewish history. Today in 1171, the first ritual murder accusation in Europe against the Jews in Blois, France. 51 Jews were burned, 17 of them women, and as they were burning, they chanted the hymn, Aleinu. You know, Aleinu Shebech. That is what they chanted. Why? Just like the Jews in the Holocaust dance in the showers, because if you're an observant Jew, you know that dying for the sake of just being Jewish means you go to a very, very holy place in the next world. So that is why they were happy. Alright, so it's a little Jewish quote of the day. It's not how much or how little you have that makes you great or small. It's how much or little you are with what you have. That's from Rav Hirsch. Meaning, your BMW doesn't make you a good person, a nice person, a cool person, a good Jew. Your possessions don't matter. It's what you do with the gifts that God gave you in this world that actually matter. All right, before we jump into our top story, a little Torah tidbit before our story. The Torah was given in the wilderness, in the desert. That's why this book in the Torah is called Bamidbar. All right, so what is exactly the importance of the desert? Well, the desert is humble because there's really nothing there. There's really no material, no valuable material things there. It's a complete wasteland. So Jews are supposed to be ready to sacrifice material comfort in excess for Torah. And it's completely free of foreign elements, which is exactly what our minds are supposed to be. You know, Gentile psychology and, you know, all these other things completely warp a Jewish mind. And it turns a lot of our people into some of these liberal, you know, peace now, code pink, deranged fools that we see today. Let's hop into our top story. You're probably wondering why in the world I'm choosing this, and I'm telling you why I'm choosing this, because 3 or 4 months down the road, when you look back, you're going to watch this episode again and say, is Eliyokim Cohen a prophet? I'm not even remotely close to being a prophet, even though I am taking a prophet class online. But if you have a brain, you can see where this is going. We all know that rockets are making it into Gaza right now, through these smuggling tunnels. What would happen if the border from Gaza to Egypt actually opened? Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Tune in Saturday, because that's when it's going to reopen. What do you think it's going to take for some loser in Hamas to go up and say to the guy at the border, hey Ahmed, what are you making per month? About 2 cents. How about if I give you $10,000 to let this missile or this bomb, or this mustard gas come through? You think Ahmed's gonna go, oh, but I have a job, well, I couldn't possibly do that. No, he's gonna say, man, I would have done it for 10 bucks, not 10,000 bucks. You know what a disaster is looming here? When we left Egypt, when we left Gaza, when we expelled the Jews in 2005 and left Gaza, part of the rule of leaving was that European monitors had to be on this border. Well, you know what happened when Hamas took over? The Europeans vanished literally overnight. Poof! And it's gone. They just left. So, and this time, Israel could say, no, you guys can't open it until you get the monitors back. Even though they're not going to do anything. Just the fact that we would actually protest this, but you know what? We're not doing anything. You know, our leaders are getting on TV, you know, they're sending cables out, and there's, oh, this is a very, nervous, intense situation for us. We think that this might end up turning out bad. It's always going to turn out bad. If they're smuggling missiles through tunnels, now they have a whole open border to do this through. And we're not doing anything about it. saying, you know what? When we see one missile coming in, we are taking over this border ourselves. No, nothing. Israel's just saying, we're very concerned. We always use we're tense, concerned, fearful, afraid. Just saying nonsense that we're seeing all the time. Not a single one of our leaders is doing anything tough about this. Do you have any idea what this means? The border from Egypt to Gaza, the same Egypt that is now over 70% of their people are saying they don't want a peace treaty with Israel. They're blowing up our gas lines. This border from Egypt to Gaza is now going to be completely open with only some Egyptian border guards who are probably making, less than you make per hour manning it. So what's going to happen, like I said, when they get bribed, when Hamas just sends guys with guns to the border, this is an absolute nightmare waiting to happen, and we're sitting back as usual doing nothing. Not one darn thing. So I want to know what you have to think about this. I really, really want to know what you have to think about this. So please email the show. You don't have to email. On the YouTube video, I hope you're watching on YouTube. Comment below it, and I'll read this on tomorrow's show. Because yesterday we asked, what did you think of Prime Minister Netanyahu's speech in Congress? So here's some of the results. No country has the right to tell Israel to give up land, and no Prime Minister has the right to give up any land. The purpose of Netanyahu's speech was twofold. One was to push Obama back. The other was to keep the money flowing. I agree with you that giving away part of any country is horrible. But I think the most important part that he sets down is starting lines for negotiations. Some parts I like, some parts I didn't like. Let's see, let me read one more. He was pulling the wool over their eyes. He just gave a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge, thinking that they want peace. Pretty much the thing was, there's some good and there's some bad about his speech. The good being, okay, he said some things that no Israeli Prime Minister has ever said. The bad being, he wants to just give me away. Not me personally, but everybody that lives around me. Anyone that lives outside these quote-unquote settlement blocks or Legos or, Tinker Toys, whatever you want to call them, no Jew is allowed to give away this land. It's not ours to give away. And anytime we have given away land, whether it's been southern Lebanon, which is actually biblical Israel, we left Gaza, what do we get both times? Missiles. What are we getting from Egypt now? We don't have peace with anybody in this region. They hate us. It's okay in this world to be hated. Okay? So let's move on. Please comment and I'll read them on tomorrow's show. So now the big thing is we need to build. We need to build. Approving any building tenders in any of these places. The price in Yerushalayim is skyrocketing. Young couples can't live next to their parents. If they want to live in the same neighborhood, they want to live in, the same city, they can't do that because housing prices are going up every single day because we're not building. The people that multiply the fastest, like rabbits in this country, are the religious Jews. Well, they all live usually either in Jerusalem, a lot of them live in the quote-unquote settlements, and Ehud Barak is not approving any building tenders in any of these places. And people are getting fed up because an apartment that should cost, 300,000 shekels is now 800,000 shekels because the demand is way higher than this. Shalom. Hi, Ima. When did I go to the principal's office the first time? Kindergarten. Jen Joseph. Mom, she tried to kiss me and she had cooties and I didn't want to kiss her, so I kicked her. No, she did not beat me up. She came up behind me, hit me in the head with a ruler. That's not getting beat up. It was a sucker punch. It was a blatant sucker punch. Okay, can I call you back? I did not get beat up by a girl for what it's worth. She sucker punched me. We're what? We need to build. We have all this land. If you ever came to my yeshuv, where I live in Israel, you'll see nothing but empty land, and you'd say to me, why are there no homes here? Why is there just dirt and rubble? This is why. Because we're weak. Because we don't just say to the world, you know what? Now that we just declared that this is our state, we're going to build as much as we want. And until we do that, until we stand up for ourselves and not take any of this, you know what we're like? We're like the bully that could give every single kid in school, every neighbor around us, every Iraq, every Syria, Egypt, we could give all of them the biggest atomic wedgies, swirlies, shove them into lockers, whatever, and we don't. We're like, oh God, I can't believe it. What is the dork gonna do today? Why do we act like this? What's the point of having, a guy that protects us, the military, the best economy, if we're not gonna use any of this? We use none of our leverage that we should in this world. I have a story about 2 stories from now that you are absolutely not going to believe, so please stay tuned. I meant to mention that at the beginning. You've never heard anything this stupid. Stay tuned. Alright, so moving right along. Again, more fear. Officials in Israel are openly declaring their fear of a boycott on our military goods if the quote-unquote Palestinians declare a state. They think this will be one of the sanctions against us. Well, I have something to tell you. The U.S. is now helping us buy 4 more Iron Dome interceptors. Why? Not out of the kindness of their hearts. They want the technology. If you guys have any idea the kinds of things that the Israeli, defense industry is coming up with, they will blow your mind. Guns that shoot sideways from corners, the Iron Dome. I mean, there's a reason why we're the 4th biggest arms exporter in the entire world, and we're probably the 3rd smallest country in the entire world. We're like Delaware. There's a reason for that, because everything that comes out of here is sheer genius. So if the world wants to, boycott us, they just can't. Anytime they try to boycott us, they're like, wait a minute, I have to get rid of my computer, my cell phone, my dad has a pacemaker, he just has to die? No thanks! The Palestinians don't mean that much to us. We have to stop with this irrational fear of everything. You want to hear a good pot and kettle story? Well, here's one. Nasrallah from Hezbollah is saying that Netanyahu dealt a mortal blow to peace. Hi, pot. This is kettle. You're black. The leader of the biggest terrorist group in the entire world is saying that Netanyahu, by the way, his popularity soared after this. It went up 20-something percentage points. Dealt a blow to peace. Before we end, I have a story that is absolutely going to shock you. So I'm going to get Ralph over here, my little trusty co-host. There's a couple, they're not Jewish, but I'm going to show you how low people can get. There's a couple who just had a baby. They're not saying the sex of the baby. Not because they wanted to make a big surprise party, because they're not even going to tell the child. They're not telling anybody. They're going to let this child grow up. They're going to let this child grow up and pick its own gender! Listen to this comment! If you really want to get to know someone, you don't ask what's between their legs. Well, this child either has a wiener or he doesn't have a wiener. They're going to let this child choose his own gender. Get this. Not telling the gender of my precious baby. Please, can we just let Storm, that's what they named, discover for him or herself what he or she wants to be. What we notice is that parents make too many choices for their children. It's obnoxious. How's telling your child if he's a male or female making a choice for... Help me get through the show. There's a family that just had a baby. This baby either has a wiener or he does not have a wiener. They're not telling this child because the child's going to grow up and make a decision for themselves. What if they guess wrong? Oh, I'm definitely a girl. They're going to say, no, you're not a girl. These parents should be beat to death. These parents are just... Why is social services not coming to these parents and arresting them and taking this child and letting them get raised by wolves would be better than this? I have to go. This is insane. I have to go. Please share this episode. Even just for the ending, you should share this episode. Please share it all over, because remember, what's my slogan? It's not news unless it's Jews news. Oh.